As the famous French archaeologist Charles Ferlo, interpreter of the cuneiform text discovered in Ugarit, put it, every civilized human being in this world has two homelands, his native country and Syria. When Syria is wounded, the whole world bleeds and suffers. Hence, how can we heal Syria's wounds so as to restore happiness to its people? In mid-March 2011, the early signs of the perilous crisis first emerged, a predicament with consequences that the country continues to suffer from until today. In fact, it has already become a steadily aggravated humanitarian crisis labeled as the worst ever after the Second World War. Over 13.5 million Syrians have been forced by the crisis to leave their homes and consequently become internally displaced. Furthermore, more than 5 million Syrians have taken refuge in neighboring countries, not to mention the very large numbers of people killed, nor those inflicted with permanent disabilities. Ever since the crisis broke out, the Middle East Council of Churches laid out appropriate plans for countering the crisis in Syria and meeting the needs of the affected and displaced people of all classes and affiliations. This massive task was accomplished by a team that was well-trained on a humanitarian work and speedy response according to internationally acknowledged standards, so that all the aids necessary were provided and in cooperation with local and international partners which supported our efforts. The programs which have already been implemented and/or are still steadily underway all over Syria include in-kind deliveries, the distribution of food, hygiene and cleaning kits for families and particularly children, in addition to distribution of clothes and shoes. The water and sanitation program involved the restoration and rehabilitation of the vital drainage sector in both public and private schools, as well as in hospitals and medical centers. This program is accompanied by a hygiene promotion program to promote hygiene among school students, affected and host communities. Sabotage activities made cities and population communities suffer from the piling up of garbage and earth. So in cooperation with municipalities and local councils, the MECC encouraged displaced young men and women to be involved in cleaning campaigns, which aimed at garbage and earth removal and eventually keep such population communities clean. Besides, the endeavor revived their hope of a better future for themselves and for their households through their contribution to the resurrection of the neighborhoods where they now live. As the crisis continued to aggravate at all levels, approximately half of the country's children dropped out and deserted their classrooms. So many students had to leave their homes with their families because of acts of violence, which changed both their social and educational environments and resulted in an inevitable decline of their schooling levels. The council organized special makeup courses that would help students catch up their peers and eventually attend regular classes. The program also included sessions that were dedicated for elevating the impact of the trauma that the children suffered from. Besides, The council contributed to the settlement of part of the students' school fees and expenses so as to financially support their affected and displaced families. Furthermore, specialists conducted courses whereby the teachers received training on how to deal with children who had suffered severe psychological shocks following the violence which their affected areas had witnessed. Although strenuous efforts were exerted in a bid to maintain the generation's psychological health, as these youngsters will be the mainstay on whom we rely in the construction of the new Syria, and hence they should be psychologically healthy. The program also provided teachers training on child protection policies, which the Council plans to spread out to all schools in the future. To help young and unemployed people, as well as those who had lost their jobs or their businesses, the Council launched a program which provided training courses and cash grants to relieve the economic suffering of such most affected groups. The project aimed to build the capacities of youths and to enable skilled workers to reinitiate their businesses. This was achieved through vocational training and dedicated courses on how to invest in small projects. The program thus contributed to both networking and social cohesion through enabling the beneficiaries to get involved in small-scale individual projects or partnerships. And through the rehabilitation of skilled workers who have lost their lifetime investments in the current ordeal. Some workers have actually managed to restart their workshops in new and convenient locations. Their professional fields including sewing, carpentry, brassware works, hairdressing, electronics, and many other professions which Syrians have always been famous for. In order to empower women who have been the most badly affected segment and in a bid to preserve some traditional handicraft, the Council runs training courses where women are taught crafts that they can practice at home. At the conclusion of each such course, cash grants are given to outstanding beneficiaries to help them start up their own businesses. Besides, an exhibition is organized where all the beneficiaries' artwork are put on display. Recently, MECC conducted rapid dairy value chain assessment in several areas, and the results showed that these villages are suitable areas for implementing dairy value chain interventions. Thus, and under livelihood sector, MECC started with the new projects related to livestock by distributing pregnant sheep, fodder, dairy processing equipment, and establish barns for the targeted families, including secure the veterinary clinics. The dairy value chain faces several challenges during the war, and MECC intervention was able to improve the value chain system, which developed also the economic situation of beneficiaries. In view of the horrible impact of the affliction on families as a whole, and on women and children in particular, the Council paid special attention to health awareness programs that addressed women going through tough circumstances. The main objective was to raise the beneficiaries' awareness of the importance of clean and safe nutrition for their families and of the right means and ways to deal with common diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, and sexually transmitted diseases, as well as the need for early tests for breast cancer and general disease prevention. The session also touched on household safety and good health of their children, as well as other topics related to domestic and gender-based violence. In terms of medical assistance, the Council has assisted the cancer patients by providing medicines according to the available financial resources. As a humanitarian relief work in Syria requires workers well qualified in this domain, the Council has sought to build the capacities of all those involved in humanitarian activities in churches and local NGOs, so that they are trained on how to best deal with the beneficiaries. Advanced courses were organized that dealt with various topics such as the principles of the Code of Relief and the humanitarian work, the human law, and the Code of Conduct, which workers have to observe, abide by, and never violate, in addition to effective leadership and communication skills and several other themes that the humanitarian relief workers need. Some of last year's programs have been characterized by joint work with member churches of the Council through the implementation of programs, through them and under the supervision of the Council in order to promote ecumenical spirit and coordination among them, as well as to raise the efficiency of staff in local church institutions according to international requirements. The services rendered by the Council, whose motto is "Service with Dignity," are in fact a message of love and peace to all the countrymen in the hope that such services may bring them close together, make them love each other, and work hand in hand on building a new Syria on the basis of shared future, freedom, dignity, and justice. Such endeavors are a reflection of the vital, pioneering role which Christians have undertaken in the awakening of the Levant. These original inhabitants of the area still believe in that civilization role despite all the huge challenges they face in playing it, as they hold on to the objective of achieving genuine citizenship and equally shared civil life rights in the country. This message of love would not have come into being without the support of the MECC partners and the backing of donors all over the world, who shared us the belief in that love-based human duty. They have all contributed with us to the repercussions of this humanitarian suffering prompted by a firm belief that each and every human being deserves to enjoy a decent life irrespective of their color, race, or religion.